Here at Blue Box.
Background music is always good.
We always like background music. Yes.
Who doesn't like background
I just think it adds a lot.
Oh, 100%. Oh, this is very harpy. It's very nice. I like it. Oh no! I seriously was like trying to move everything down here, and I'm like, hopefully nothing spills. And my setup is kind of sketchy, but you know, we're just gonna wing it.
It's super sketchy with your keyboard the way it is.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's gonna knock over and like knock everything over. It's just, oops.
Like my office, as you can tell, it's literally inside a closet.
Okay, when you were saying that, I was like, is that legit? I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It looks more like
legit.
It looks like a pantry. I think I see some seasoning salt back there.
Yeah, no, it's just full of like. There's like tons of like spray paints over here and minis over here, and I have minis there. I actually had like actual clothes back here, but I took them out because I don't need Twitch seeing my clothes up here.
Well, as long as there's
likes red, apparently.
as long as there was a Blue Box shirt at the front, which maybe you don't have, so I got to get you one. Next time you can do that.
You gotta have a Blue Box shirt.
Yeah, I never thought about it until just now. Like, why on earth does he not have a Blue Box shirt? So we'll make that happen, my friend.
You should have made a bigger fuss about it.
Oh, it's all good.
Hello, Lord Forth, Myomorph, Brian, FO9, Roger. Good to see all of you already joining on the stream tonight. We're so thankful to have you. Man, what a great night we're going to have.
She's painting her Millie today?
Well, no, it's a mini. It's a beholder mini.
Oh my gosh. Vivi,
Hold on.
why
You're
do I
actually
not
painting a
have one of
beholder.
your awesome beholders to unleash upon the party yet?
Do you use beholders in your game?
Oh yes, I have like
Yes,
3 of them over
we
here.
faced one in our Lord of the Rings campaign, actually.
But none of them are as cool as yours, so.
No.
Well, maybe if I finish painting it, I can send this one to you.
Okay. And if I kill you with it, will you be okay?
What I'm painting tonight will be sent to John.
Oh!
That's why he was being so mysterious
That's
about
awesome.
it.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what are you painting? He's like, no, you'll find it on stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No, we were friends, Jorge. I thought we were friends.
I'm very good at keeping a secret. As you know.
No, you're not.
What?
Kidding.
You had no idea I was painting your mini.
That's true. I had
No,
yeah,
he told me, I did not tell you. He kept it secret, I kept it secret, and it was amazing.
I don't know how he kept it secret. We talked like almost every day. I was like, excuse me, sir. How dare you?
Okay.
I just want my water cup.
Here, why don't you sit down there?
I don't want to sit down.
Awesome.
All right.
Is it?
No, I just spilled paint all over my desk.
You spilled paint! Yay! Welcome to club. Apparently people spill paint and things
Hey,
about me.
real quickly, Jorge, you know Captain Cade Cardinal.
Yes, hi.
This is...
That's awesome.
And she loves the mini you painted for her.
I'm glad. I'm very glad.
Who doesn't like the minis that he paints?
Yeah, no, exactly.
No, you'd probably be surprised.
I mean, although I don't like
I don't know.
Sakurai again.
Where
I'm
is
just
he?
gonna
I
tell
got
you
it.
right
No, I see Lilith is painting.
Oh yeah, Lilith is always painting. That's her.
Oh, okay.
Or that's Vivi actually, but
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
We know you're by your
Lilith,
character
Vivi,
name. Yes,
Vivi,
it's
Lilith.
fine.
I always call Solomon, and that is not his real name, but.
No, but Solomon's real name is actually better. It's Seraphim. I mean, like, who has a better name for gaming than Seraphim? That's his real name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's so.
wicked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like my boss in my day job, his last name is Grimes. And I'm like, I'm so jealous.
Exactly, yes.
Mr. Grabs.
Hey, so let's talk about books real quick. We're waiting a few minutes. Are you guys reading any fantasy books or any? Do you have any like favorite authors? Because I am a. There's not much I'll say this about, but on this topic, I will say I'm a fount of knowledge. I read so many fantasy books. What are you guys reading, or what have you read that you love?
I'll let you go ahead, baby.
Me, I don't really have too much time for reading, but if you are a fountain of knowledge, please suggest, and then I shall read.
All right, so Vivi, I'm gonna challenge you. So when you say you don't have time for reading, do you spend any time on social media?
Ooh, that,
I'm sorry, like I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm sorry. Like,
So about that. You know what?
Yeah. What? Sorry.
Jorge?
Your mic. Your mic.
Chime in whenever you want to.
Oh no, I'm enjoying this. It's all good.
I have a recommendation that you might like, Phoebe.
Okay.
It's called the Swords and Fire trilogy. It's by Melissa Caruso. It's excellent. There are 3 books. I can send you the picture of the edges of the book so you can see.
Okay,
I'll
perfect.
send it to your Discord.
Okay.
I loved those books. They were so good.
Oh, she can't see me. Hi, Amanda. I'm waving at
I was
you.
gonna say hi, Mystical Unicorn.
I know.
Very nice.
No, for me, when it comes to books, for me, I like older stuff. So, probably my favorite fantasy series or novels or books, I guess. It's Conan, the Robert E. Howard original
yes.
stories.
I read all those. I love those.
I'm a big fan of more lower fantasy, I guess. That's kind of redundant, but lower fantasy.
So not the epic stuff, the more sort of low magic, grittier type stuff, right?
Yes, and that's actually really funny because that's actually how I play my games. My games are very grounded, very low magic. You can die, and it's permadeath. There's no, if you die, you're not coming back type deal. But other than Conan, if I go to the other side of the spectrum, something that in my opinion doesn't get talked about enough, and it's what Witcher ripped off. It's Elric of Melniboné.
Oh yes, Elric, the Michael Moorcock novels. Those are some of my favorites.
Yes.
I watched a whole video about that the other day, actually. I did not realize how much exactly was involved from it, but it's like all of it.
Yeah. I remember playing the video games for the first time. I was like, this looks familiar. This looks familiar. Some of the story beats and calling him the White Wolf, I'm like, oh, this is familiar. And then I went back and reread the first Elric book, and I was like, oh.
No, I read those books when I was probably, 15, 14. They made an impact on me. Great. I think foundational. You put Tolkien. Yes. I put what Moorcock did with those novels really close to Tolkien. Like they were very foundational. 1000%. Yep.
Yeah, like if you see like the fantasy foundations, you have like what everything's derived from. In my opinion, is Tolkien, Conan, Elric, with Moorcock. H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, it's a big, and another author that doesn't ever get talked about. It's oh my god, is it Jack Vance?
I don't know that one.
I'm gonna have to Google this.
You might have it. So I'll give you a few of mine they're more sort of modern novelists, but I think they're really in that ilk. Has anyone read any of the stuff from Patrick Rothfuss? Name of the Wind. Yes.
I know of it, but I haven't.
Rothfuss, like he is a literary genius. His work is so good, and I don't know if I'd call it. It's not low magic. It's not high magic. It's just different. It's true literature. Patrick Rothfuss is amazing. Something I've really been on over the past several years. I read his older stuff, and I'm actually reading his newest novel or his newest series now. I'm on A Little Hatred. Have you read? Now this is not suitable for children. This is NSFW stuff, but Joe Abercrombie, First Law trilogy.
I've heard the name of it.
I'm telling you, you need to do yourself a favor. Read Joe Abercrombie. The First Law trilogy. He's got multiple series. Very gritty. Very, very pithy prose and a great read. Different than a lot of the sort of. I like Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time. I've read all that, but that's very dense, lengthy. Yeah. Sometimes
I never got into that because it was so. I find it very intimidating.
It's like
so much.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I've read it 3 times, but I skip through pages. Oh, wow. Like I'll be like, no, okay, let me move on. Well, you won't do that with Joe Abercrombie. Every page, the literature is fantastic, and then. Of course, Brandon Sanderson, he's good, and he finished The Wheel of Time after the death of Robert Jordan, and then his Stormlight Archive series is really good, and I think the newest novel's coming out here pretty soon, but I would say my top 3, if you want gritty, realistic, it would be Abercrombie, it would be Scott Lynch. Have you read the Gentleman Bastard series?
I know of it. I haven't read it.
Yeah, Gentleman Bastard series, Scott Lynch, really, really good stuff. Yes, Antiquus Elantris. Yeah, Sanderson stuff. He's quick. He moves along. So it's the opposite of Jordan. Jordan tended to, as Jorge just said, Jordan would kind of bog down. He would spend 3 pages describing a doily on the table, and not everyone likes that.
It's the fantasy Tom Clancy.
Exactly. All right, so. We are already sitting at 27 viewers. Jorge, is this your first Twitch stream?
Ever.
Oh my gosh. All right, so everybody, Jorge, who I'm going to introduce in a moment, he was nervous coming into this. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he should not be. He is a super talented mini painter. He's just never been on Twitch before, and so let's be good to him and celebrate his work. And we are now going video live. Hello, welcome everyone. Blue Box. Yes. All right, so I am joined, as always, by my lovely and talented co-host Evelyn, and you know her as Irda or Millie, or she plays all of my campaigns. She's my stalwart, also the note taker, does incredible stuff. Then I'm joined by Vivi. You know her as Lilith on our Greyhawk Awakening campaign. And the man of the hour, the star of the show. Maybe I shouldn't say that and make him more nervous. But anyway, the star of the show, Jorge, Atrus Miniatures. And let's say welcome to Jorge. Thank you so much for joining us. So,
what's up, y'all?
I don't know, you've got the Blue Box logo up here, but I want to show you tonight as we talk about mini painting. And maybe you're new as a viewer. You don't know who Jorge is. You don't know why we're interviewing him tonight and why he's here. Let me just show you some examples. So Atrus Minis is our second sponsor with Blue Box. Way back in 2019, kind of mid-year, was Dragon Crafting Guild and Atrus Minis. We were a tiny stream. We had less than 100 followers, and they trusted us and followed us, and now we are blowing up, and they have been a big part. And Jorge, we are so thankful to you, my friend. I've got minis all around here, and you. And I want to be careful because I want to acknowledge John of DCG. You are the 2 sponsors that have gone above and beyond. You send me more. You send me extra. You do more than I asked for. You're just incredible how much you have done. And so let me show you some examples of his work. This is the Wayward Bolt. So you see on your screen. Thank you for the follow, Augustus Tavern. From left to right.
I know that person.
Yeah, okay, I figured you did. It's probably one of yours. You got Gimbal, Lilith, Brim, the Half Ogre, Mary Millie. What amazing! You got Shorewind, and then an extra mini, which was originally for a character that's no longer on the stream, but will be used in my campaign. So this is the work that Jorge does. But not just that. You've heard me brag over and over and over again. This thing. Thank you for the sub, Proto Woot. This frickin' mini. So I contacted Jorge, and this was originally going to be our last collaboration together, because you got a lot of stuff going on, and you said you would do this for me, and you absolutely crushed it. And then you just kept doing more and more and more. So I just wanted to start and say I want to celebrate your work, but not just your work, your heart. The way that you work with people in the community as a sponsor, you have been absolutely incredible. So Jorge, thank you.
No, thank you. That's really nice of you.
All right. So Vivi, I'm going to start with you tonight. I know you and Jorge, and yes, I'm gonna. You know how I roll. You're gonna get surprised all the time. You and Jorge have known each other for a while. You told me just moments ago you guys talk almost every day. How did you guys meet, and what's the sort of the D&D connection you have?
Brianna.
Okay.
I don't know if she's on here, but yeah.
Yes, Brianna was our connection. Brianna is my wife.
I saw that. Yes.
Just context, Brienne has a husband. I'm just trying to woo her. That's all that's happening.
Yeah, she's the Winston of that relationship, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. All right,
And then
so
through mutual, just talking about Brianna. I think Brianna made a story about something, and then because she was like shouting out people, and then Jorge was like, "You forgot the mini painters," and then like so she tagged Jorge and she tagged me, I think, and then on a story or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's how we start talking. Oh, look, she's there.
Brianna.
My wife is here.
oh, hello, wife. All right, so Jorge, not to make you nervous, but we're already peaking at one of the best viewed LMA or Loremaster's Arcanum Wednesday night sessions. Our Tuesday nights are normally the biggest. Our Sundays are kind of the middle. Our Wednesdays are normally low. We're already at 35 followers tonight watching the stream, and that's all because of you, my friend. So don't get nervous. You're fine, but you are live across the world. All right.
No pressure
No
whatsoever.
pressure. All right, so I want to have questions from the audience tonight. That's something I really want to do. You know, we're working with a master miniature painter, and I've got some questions. I've got a list of them I've written down. I know Vivi's working on something. I know Evelyn will probably have questions, but I really want the viewers to be able to ask questions as well. So with that said, we're only a few minutes in, and Jorge, as I said again, thank you. Talk to me about how you got started painting minis.
That's a great question. So I used to paint when I was a little kid. My dad and I used to paint together model cars. Oh. So that's kind of how I got started. You know, like back in with like enamel paints and stuff like that. Just because my dad loved old cars and things of that nature. And then from there, I kind of stopped painting for many, many years. Went to art school. While in art school, I discovered D&D. And while playing D&D, the best version of D&D, 4th edition.
What? What? Wait, what? What did you just say? All right, I'm sorry, everybody. Stream is over. Good night. Thank you for joining us here at Blue Box. We're done. Everybody have a great night. No, I guess that makes sense as a mini painter, right? Because it's not the role play, it's the minis, it's the terrain, the combat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, 4th E was it was basically Final Fantasy Tactics D&D. Anyway, that had a lot of minis, so I knew someone that was like, oh, you know, we had all these minis and. I got some and they weren't painted for years and years. And to be completely honest with you, what motivated me to start painting D&D minis was a few years. It wasn't that long ago. I want to say it was about maybe no more than 2.5 years ago. And it's a YouTube channel called Loremaster.
Oh,
so okay. Loremaster's painting, it's probably my favorite YouTube channel by far. Shout out to him.
Can you pop that in the creds, Evelyn?
Sorry?
In the chat, can you pop that Loremaster's?
Lorastros.
Okay. Yeah, you can do it.
I'll spell it really quick.
Yes. Can say it that way.
I don't know how to spell that.
Yeah, so he does basically really long form tutorials where he even composes his own music. And I discovered a video of his where he was painting zombies for the Zombicide board game.
Okay.
Years ago. And I was like, oh, and the way he explained, I was like, I can do this. And one thing led to another, and here we are.
Wow. That's fantastic.
I actually have the first mini I've ever painted not too far away from me if you want to see it.
Yes, I would love to see it.
First one
yeah.
too.
No. Like, it's probably better than everything I have here, so I want to see it.
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's not.
All right. While you're pulling that out, Vivi, show us your beholder again. What's the progress on it?
Oh, I haven't done anything yet. Oh, I'm painting the ice field.
All right. I got so many questions. I'm just like bursting with them. So let's see this mini from Jorge. Do we have any questions, Evelyn, from the audience yet?
Not yet from the audience.
All right.
I'm keeping my eyes peeled.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. I'll watch for funny comments so I can lose my mind, and then you can watch for questions. All right. So let's see it, Jorge. Your first mini.
I don't know if you can see this, but
we have one right now from Steve. Jorge, do you airbrush minis? If so, what brush and how many PSI?
I do not. I don't do any airbrush.
I had that sense, and it encouraged me because I bought an airbrush and I used it a couple of times. I like it for basing, for coating the mini, but I just don't have the skill or the time to mess with it. And I love brush painters, and all your work to me, it looks like true brush painting. So that's what you do, right?
Yeah, everything I do, it's brush painting. I don't have the space really for an airbrush, and I'm just not really interested in it at the moment. Maybe one day, but I'm good. But this is, by the way, I don't know if that's even visible.
Oh yeah, it certainly is.
First mini I ever painted.
All right.
It's awful.
Okay, it's way better than my first mini by far. Now, the colors.
I will post a picture of it tonight on Instagram. So you guys can see it.
That sounds good.
It's atrocious.
All right. So, by the way, before we jump into all the questions and my questions, I know you have 3 minis you're giving away tonight.
Yes.
So let's talk about those. Incredible giveaway tonight from Jorge of Atrus Miniatures, and show us what we have.
Yep. 1 second, so I can show them all at once. It's kind of cheating because it's all 3 go at once, but it's still 3 minis. So
It's 3 minis. It totally is 3 minis.
and
Good.
Yeah, there we go. Now I can
they're on
see
my
it, yes.
Instagram, but it's the 3
They're
grunts.
so good.
Oh, look at that! All right.
And
So
they're painted as closely as I could to the official art in the 5e
Art, yeah.
on Bolo's guide.
gotcha.
I
All
think
right.
would have said, okay, giveaway, we'll ignore the 4th edition.
I saw that. I think it was all right. So you're forgiven for your 4th edition comment by the great minis you have to give away. All right. So I've got questions, but let me let Vivi and Evelyn start. Any questions you have for Jorge on mini painting?
I just have the ones from chat.
Right.
Next one was from Ali B. She asked, I have trouble figuring out what to do with bases. Do you have any tips for decorating a base?
Yes.
Ooh.
So, I don't have all. I have an entire shelf of basing material up there. However, for the bang for your buck, in my personal opinion, so Junk could actually look at that because all of these bases are done pretty much the same way. So for basing, once you put the mini down, this product right here is the one I recommend the most. This is Vallejo Brown Earth ground texture. So this comes in a very, very big jug compared to something like, which is basically the same thing. This is Citadel's Technical Sterling Mud. This is just a texture paste. So if you can see the difference in size, and it's only maybe $3 more.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow.
It lasts forever.
It'll last you for. I've had this for over 1.5 years, and it's maybe a third of the way still full. It will last forever. That's the one thing I recommend the most to use that. Other than that, just a good base will hide a lot of your sins on the mini. So if you take your time to put, see, Vivi's laughing 'cause she knows. So if you put your time down to put grass stuffs and pieces of wood and like fake leaves and stuff like that, you can have an awful paint job and it will still look like, oh, that looks great. So that would be probably, I would probably
take it to the next level,
Yes, I would say that's probably my number 1 advice on that.
Jorge, your minis have no sins, but I appreciate the comment. No,
I know where they are.
That's fantastic. All right, Evelyn, anything else from the chat?
Protowoot asked, do you have an all-time favorite model or miniature that you have painted?
Ooh. Yeah, it's this one right here. I know it is. This has got to be your all-time favorite, right?
Fun fact. So it took me. So people don't realize it took me months to do that. It took me at least 10 hours just to put it together. So it like the putting it together part, because that's all piece by piece by piece. The wings themselves are 3 separate pieces. So each. So that's probably the one I'm most proud of. That's the one I wish I had my light box before I took the pictures, because it looks so much better in person. So that would probably say, because that one is a good 40 hours of just paint, not including
and so the way this worked out, because this was supposed to be his swan song. It was going to be his last mini for me. But then he just, I don't know, he just fell in love with us more. I don't know what it was, or he just he started sending us more minis.
Your natural aura can't say no to you.
But I told him the mini that I wanted, and he said, okay, you buy it. I think I bought it on Amazon or something, and I sent it to him, and it had all, as he said, all these different options. So he was messaging me like, do you want this weapon or that weapon? Do you want that headdress or this headdress, or how do you want
that face or a different face?
Yeah, different. He put it all together, so he assembled it, and then he did all the paint, the base. It is gorgeous. All right, sorry, I just keep getting so excited about this.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, I would probably say that. My personal favorite as far as the way it looks, it's the sepulchral guard, which is the skeletons I've put up before on Instagram.
Yeah, those are gorgeous. All right.
Our next one comes from Triskelis.
Yay!
The question is, do you guys have any minis you consider a goal, a masterpiece you want to attempt someday, but just not yet?
Ooh, good
like
question.
minis that we haven't painted yet that we want to paint?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Are you thinking?
Yeah.
Do you have one that you want to paint, like in your own?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I don't own one. There is a lot of like models that I look at, and I'm like, oh, I really want to paint that. A lot of it is, I think it's time to, like, kind of like what Jorge was saying about like the time to assemble and put all the pieces together. And I think that's kind of what I found the difference between painting Warhammer and painting D&D models is like there's so much detail in Warhammer, and like you can get so overwhelmed. Like I think like painting Buddy.
This is Warhammer, right? So, yep.
Yes.
Is that Warhammer?
Yes. Yeah, this is Warhammer.
Okay, yeah. So that exactly that exact reason. It's just
That's
like
why it took 12 hours to put together.
yeah, because there's so many pieces, there's so many different options, there's so much detail, and I think when we were doing the Mologs mob together, like it just becomes almost like overwhelming because you're like, oh my gosh, like yes. Oh, I don't have that one by me, but like there's so many different elements to it, and the detail is so intense that it's just like sometimes you can just be like, oh, okay, like how do I get it to like not look all the same, but also look like it looks well together at the same time.
So if you look at Jorge's the mini of shame that he held up to us initially, his first mini, it's good, but it's garish. Like the contrasts are so strong, it doesn't really blend. I think that's why he's saying it's. If you look at the stuff he does now, he has contrast, but the blends, the sort of, and that's something I wanted to ask him about. Let me jump into my questions, and Evelyn, you can continue to grab.
Just really quick.
Go ahead. Yes.
His mini.
I don't feel like I'm good enough to paint this mini, as silly as it sounds, mostly because I'm a big fan of this character. But it's Boba Fett from Star Wars.
Oh,
do it! Whether
I don't feel like I'm yet at the place I want to be too.
And why? Because you think like technically the nuances of the gray of his armor and stuff will be too challenging, or what's the thing that makes you?
Mostly weathering. I'm not very good at weathering. So if you notice on my painting, I paint very clean. So like most of my models, they look like they just stepped out of an inn. They just took a shower and they're just like, we're going. There's like no mud on them. That's mostly on purpose. That's just because that's how I enjoy painting. But that's probably I would say it's probably the main reason, because I feel like Boba Fett, it's not a clean character. You want Boba Fett to have a little bit of grit and just be battle worn and stuff like that. So one day, probably
we'll have
next
a conversation about weathering after. I love weathering.
I know. So I want to talk about weathering. All right. So let me jump into a question I had. So color theory. You and I talked about this with some of our minis. How do you know what colors work together? That seems like a simple question, but it's not. I struggle with that sometimes, even with the most basic minis.
I have that exact same color.
All right. So talk to us about that.
Color wheels help. I don't have it here, but there's a series of books that you can get. I'm probably going to pronounce it incorrectly, which is Pantone, I believe it's called.
Pantone.
Yes.
Pantone.
So it shows you like all the different swaths and things of that nature. I have books on color theory, but to me, it's just with time, you learn that there's very overpowering colors and colors that are very contrasty. Like I just painted recently this was actually for like a competition. I don't even know if I won, but the whole point of it was to paint something that was yellow and orange and blue, and it had to be like very, very contrasty. So this is not something I normally paint. This is just very specific.
Yeah, I'm guessing
but it just depends. It honestly just depends what you're painting. Like for fantasy, it's a little bit more subdued, but I usually just use the color wheel, and I'm like, yeah, that's too much. I don't have a specific way I can tell you that I do things, to be honest.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that makes sense. Sometimes you just look at it and you kind of know, like, okay, yeah, that looks good together or not, or whatever.
So you're saying it's just a natural talent, Vivi, that if you don't have, you're screwed and you can't paint the minis as well as you guys do, right?
No. So pack your paintbrushes away.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I actually recommend is I normally don't look at miniature painters for inspiration. At all, really. I try to look at a lot of artwork. Some of the big ones, some of my favorite artists from old school stuff like Frank Frazetta, to more newer stuff like Brom and things of that nature.
Oh,
so
Brom is my favorite. I love his stuff.
Brom's amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's like one of my favorite artists of all time. That one, it's a gladiator in his Dark Sun, standing like this with his arms out and that helmet spiked. That inspired me as a kid to develop triceps. I was like, I want to look like that.
Just quickly, Extort. I actually know a few people within the community that do still paint and are colorblind, so does not screw you over. Actually, it works really well.
Okay, way to get it really serious, Eddie. Thanks. No,
Sorry,
that's
somebody just said screwed if you're
no, that's a great question. Like, I would not have even thought about that. I have some minor colorblind. I have red-orange distinction issues, a little bit of gray, but I basically see colors. But I have some. How do you paint? Do you have any tips for people that are colorblind? Just like go off the models, the paint labels.
I don't have tips for color blindness. I just know that the one person I know for sure asks his significant other what color it is. Like, he'll kind of line them up because of like contrast. Like, if the shades look very contrasty,
right.
He'll just double check with his significant other to make sure that like those colors are nice or whatever, and then goes for it.
Yeah, because I feel like I see all the colors, and then I'll say something, and my wife or my kids will be like, "Nope, John, you're wrong."
So wrong.
Yeah, so wrong. All right, so another dumb question for me, and then I'm going to let Evelyn go back to the chat questions. Yep. Inks versus washes. I've used both, and I've used the washes. I have the dark, the light, and then I have inks. How do you use those, or do you use those?
I do. So the way I use them, I use washes for shading, so to bring the colors down. I tend to paint in very bright, vivid colors, more so. I don't that's just how I paint. So washes, just gotta remember, washes bring the colors down. I do use inks if I want a color to pop. So if you're painting red, and it's a fairly desaturated red, if you have something like something like this, so like Vallejo ink. Something like this. What this does, or Still 75 ink 10s, what this does, that's actually going to make whatever color you have, and you put it over, it's going to make it brighter. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, because normally when I'm trying to do that, I've already got my base coat down, and I'm trying to create those shadows, the sort of contrast, and that actually brings me to my next question, which is these Citadel contrast paints. Where they're supposed to sort of lay down a wash at the same time. Okay, I see your head. Go ahead.
So I at first, so when they first came out, they're like one thick coat, and you just do it, and don't do that. You can do that for some things. So for example, I do use, I have a ton of them actually. So I do use some of them for example, if you give me 1 second, this one's called Snakebite Leather. I should put there we go. So this one called Snakebite Leather. Okay, I think I have that. Perfect to paint leather on minis if you're not painting a lot of it. So if you're only catching a few belts, a pouch, a boot, it's perfect. You just put one coat. I don't thin them necessarily. I do apply them, not a thick coat. I do apply a thin coat of it, and it's fantastic. So they do have their uses. What I've learned to use them with, it just depends what you're painting. So what I've learned to use them with is for recess shading. So recess shading is when you base coat something and you just want a specific, you don't want to shade the whole mini. You don't want to wash the whole mini. So if you have, let's say, something that has like a jacket, so it's standing open and there's just the insides, and you want the insides to be this, let's say you're painting the jacket blue, for example, and you want the blue color on the inside to be darker, you put a darker shade on that. For something like that, I would use contrast paint, something like Talasar Blue, or something like that. Or it's just good for stuff like that, or to change colors. So a good example I haven't posted this many on Instagram yet, but I used this specific paint, which is actually one of my favorites, called Athematic Blue. I wish, whoops, that's gone. So I wish Citadel would just name their paints like regular colors, like blue and cyan. And anyway,
yeah, that would be
beside
so
the
handy.
point. But for example, this mini, I painted the wings white, and then I put that over, and then I highlighted over that. But it just, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just basically angel wings.
Yeah.
And it just creates a blue shimmer, but it's not painted blue.
Yeah.
But it's not painted blue. Yeah.
So
for things like that, those are the uses that I use it for.
Wow, very cool. All right, so I've got a couple more questions, but Evelyn?
Yeah, I got a bunch from chat. Sickle Unicorn Painting asked, what is the technique you want to most improve?
Non-metallic metals.
And then I want to try that too.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say non-metallic metals?
So non-metallic metals is painting metallics like silver and gold with paints that are not silver and gold.
Yeah.
So you would paint, for example, you would paint silver with a combination of black, gray, white, blue.
Okay, so that makes sense to me. For example, when I sent you the Ashran description, and you talked about what would Ashran look like, and I said she has blonde gold hair. Would that be an example of a place you'd be doing a non-metallic gold?
No. Like armor or like a sword, an axe, things like that. Yeah.
So what's wrong with all the metallics we have? Why can't we just use those?
Because it's because mini painters aren't stressed enough, and then you push yourself and really make you want to rip your hair out. You just feel like
try hard mode.
Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try
try hard. Yeah, try hard armor. Okay.
I'm gonna try to simulate metal where there's none.
When there is none.
Right.
Yeah.
So
because I hate myself.
Okay, let's
I'm gonna spend another 17 hours on this one sword that's maybe a tenth of an inch long.
Okay,
yeah,
let's back away from that ledge. I don't think that's where most of our viewers are. So let's back away from that ledge before we lose everybody. Evelyn, what's the next question?
I have one from Hobby Nut. Do you paint sub-assembly or when fully assembled?
Oh yes, I saw that. Great. So like even with this one,
that depends. So for example, the big one was on sub-assembly. So on the big one, mostly because there's areas where I wouldn't be able to get the paint into. Like, for example, the inside of the wings, or the bottom side of the mini, things of that nature. So for that, I actually painted the wings completely separately, and then I attached them. But for the most part, I paint fully assembled, unless it's something that I just can't reach. I don't have an example other than what John's holding. But yeah, it just depends on the mini. But for the most part, I just assemble the whole thing, and then if I can't reach that space, then it's a shadow.
Yeah, well, that's just most D&D models are usually come pre-assembled. It's Warhammer that's usually in bits or whatever. But yeah, like you said, depending on, if you're gonna do a face, and whatever for Warhammer, it's easier to just paint the face separate and then glue it on afterwards or something like that. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. And before the next question, I have to acknowledge the chat. You guys have somebody was in my room as an 11-year-old kid. Minis to me were painted with testers, model paint, and they were all super glossy. It was all oil-based, super glossy paints, testers. I used it for my model airplanes and for my D&D minis. Not recommended today. All right.
D&D player 888 asks, any tips for painting lead minis?
Like metal ones?
Like metal ones? Just the same.
Yeah.
Are there minis, Jorge, that you don't?
Stuff like this, it's, to be honest with you, since it's a full metal mini, this is from Dark Sword Miniatures. This is more of a pain in the ass to put together than, sorry, I don't know if I can.
No, you're fine. No, that's fine. Cool. Yeah, we're kind of clean here. We're not squeaky clean. Yeah, that's fine. You're fine.
All right, cool. So, they're more of a pain in the butt to put together than to paint them. To paint them is really the same. It's really the same principle. Just make sure you, of course, prime them. You can use whether it's brush on primer, spray primer. It's still the same.
So but is the basing more important? The initial coat on the lead minis. No.
It's all the same. It's just the weight of the mini is heavier.
Okay, but what about like these?
Most of the minis that John has are metal, so they're just I just like them because they have more heft.
Weight.
To it.
No, I love that too. Like they're gorgeous. I'll pull some of these others here in a second. But so with that question, like you've got WizKid minis and others that they seem to be sort of a pre-coat. Are there any minis that you think they've already got a good foundation and you'll just start with your first layer, or do you prime everything?
I pretty much prime everything.
And what about detail? Do you lose detail when you do that? Because I'm always afraid of that with my prime coat. If it's too thick, am I losing detail in the face, in the armor?
You can if you put everything too thick. It's just a matter of practice. Like I always hear, for example, just to bust a myth, I should say. Like there's a myth of if it's too hot or too cold or too humid outside, you can't spray prime.
Yes.
That's not true.
Okay.
The difference is make sure you warm up the can inside. Go outside, even if it's super cold or super hot. Or I'm in Florida, so it's a swamp. So you go outside and you just start sweating.
We got the swamp with the ice cube.
The trick is just you warm up the can inside. Go outside, prime it, and then you bring it inside immediately. And I know for fumes, because that's also a question I've gotten about that before. What I do is I bring the mini into my bathroom and I just leave it on with the extractor on. As long as you do that, if you leave it outside when it's cold or really hot or really humid, then it will ruin it. But for the most part, as long as you're light with it, you should be fine.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually put multiple coats of prime on most of my minis. So I'll put multiple colors. I'll put a black primer, then a gray at about a 90-degree angle, and then white from above.
Yeah, I can never say it.
Zenithal.
Thank you. I was like, so something.
So Vivi.
John, you were talking about minis. A lot of like the WizKids and stuff like that, and Reapers, like they do have a prime. I would suggest for people who are just starting out to just wash them with warm water and soap. It kind of, there's a releasing agent on the things, and it kind of helps remove that. And then that's why if you try to paint on it and it's like deterring, then that's usually what I do. So I'll just wash the minis. If you don't have a primer or whatever at home and you're just buying like WizKid or Reaper models, I would definitely wash them first.
No, okay, so like that's great. And Hobby Nut, he said he washes all of his minis with a toothbrush and dish soap water.
Yep.
So I think that's the same exact idea. Thank you, Hobby Nut. But then there's a follow-up question.
It removes anything oily, and therefore, all those release agents are basically oil-based. And so.
Steve said, use a belt sander to prep your mini. That's awesome. But there's a great follow-up here from where is it here? Lexfire.
Lexfire.
I have the same question because I've heard, use a white prime. If you're going to paint a lighter mini, use a darker prime. You want the shadows to sort of be preset. Do you change your prime coating, gray, black, white, or is it always the same?
Not really. I mean, most of what I do, so I always base them in black first, and the reason for that is because depending on the mini, I don't have a good example on me, but depending on the mini, sometimes they'll have spaces where you just can't get a brush in there.
Yeah.
So if I can't get a brush, it's a shadow, and that's just how I do it. So I just do black, and then I just do white from above. And that for the most part takes care of everything, because if you spray white from above, or just, you don't even have to spray it, you can actually dry brush white, just as long as you do it in downward motion only. So you're just going brush, brush, brush instead of up and down. You can create the same
and so
the same effect, yeah.
And you said white, so you prime all your minis in white?
In black and then white from above.
Okay, gotcha. So you create the lighting effect.
So that way, anything that the sunlight is not hitting, it's black.
Gotcha.
And then white from above, or any light gray, it works as well.
This is what he's talking about. So you see how it's lighter at the top and darker at the bottom?
Vivi, you're just showing off now.
I have my prime holders over here.
That's beautiful. No, put it up again. Let me see it. I'm sorry, I'm teasing. I'm teasing you. Put it up again. Let me see it again, please.
And then I guess I'll just show you now, Vivi. So it's your favorite character from the stream.
It's Winston!
Winston, everybody's favorite.
It's Atrin.
Yes, my favorite character. Well, thank you. I am so grateful for your honesty and the way you are helping us on our stream tonight.
So she's Zenithal Prime, so you can see that she has darker parts and a brighter on top. But that's basically the idea.
Wow.
For this one, BB's face. Oh, BB's fast. Oh, I have this thing by my computer all the time.
Well, we can tell.
Yeah, because it's Winston.
It's right there every time. Yes.
This death kiss I did not prime in black because I do want it to be white, so that's why I primed it in gray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you start with the lighter prime because you're going to go mostly white.
Because it's mostly white. That's usually why. Mostly, I would do the exact same as what Jorge does with the black and then the white on top. But because for this sake, I was just, it's going to be mostly white anyway.
Yeah.
Or built up to white, so I want to be.
All right, so Vivi, what questions would you have for Jorge? Like, I know you've talked to him so much. There's probably brilliance that you'd like to pull out from him. Ask a better question than mine.
Okay, having being somebody who has an art background, because I don't have one and I paint miniatures, do you find that there's something that just having that knowledge holds you back from painting? Or like kind of like without painting freely, I guess? Because it's like, oh, there's that technical side in you that
not necessarily. I don't really because I don't really bring those two together, because to me they're just separate things. I know it sounds weird because miniature painting is an art to a certain degree. I just not really. No.
No, that's good.
No.
Yeah, great question, Vivi.
I have an art business background, so I went to school to like manage museums and galleries and stuff.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Awesome. No, I was just curious about that because it's like this is like your technical side, and this is like your, you know what I mean, your free flying side.
No, I guess I've always thought that's probably why I paint so clean. You know, as far as like the style wise, and I like vibrant colors, and I just like colors like that. But you know, other than that, no. Why is Asheron? That's
what I just saw.
I know. I don't know. It's a phenomenon. It's the love of Winston and the hate on Asheron, and I can't really figure it out. She's been so good to the party. She heals them constantly, but
I think it's just her sassy remarks.
She's been a bit sassy. She has.
Poor girl, she just got friend zoned.
Yeah, she did. Exactly. She got friend zoned. I just think because Millie is so mean, the party's turned on Asheron.
Millie is not mean. I love Millie. How dare you?
All right.
Millie's whole relationship with Asheron is only bad because Asheron had to be all judgy.
And then she's the one who's like, "Ooh, you're shy."
Yeah, but that was a proper courtship there, not just a hey, let's go up to the room. All right, so my next lame question. One of the things I struggle with is whites. Like a white tabard. These are some of the minis I've painted, and they're okay, but whenever I do white, I just feel like when I try to create, that doesn't come out. When I try to create shadows or some sort of differentiation where it just doesn't look like a block of white, it never looks right to me. So how do you take white cloth, white cloaks, white tabards, and make them look good?
You don't paint them white.
Don't paint them white.
Yeah, so you start. So the idea is you can start either with either a gray, so not a dark gray, but a lighter gray, or something like an ivory, so like a tan, a light tan, something along those lines as your base, and then you basically just keep adding white to that paint. The only things I would paint like white would be like the edges, like the extreme edges, or where the light would catch the most. Because like, for example, if you look at your shirt's black, right?
Right.
And if you're looking at that shot, it's not perfectly blacked across.
Right.
It's very dark to one side and it's light to the other. So when you see colors in real life, you don't see all black. So that's kind of like the idea of how you paint that. But I would just say just start with a much,
like a gray.
Okay,
Yes.
so I see. So my brain was going exactly the wrong direction. I was starting with white and then trying to add shading, shadows, edges. That was wrong. I should start with something darker, whether it's gray or even a deeper ivory, and then lighten the top layers with a sort of highlight with a dry brush or whatever. That's the way you should do it. Okay.
You want white to be the last thing you paint, and it's usually going to be the smallest parts. The edging of a cloak. Small pieces where the light would catch, like the up top most pieces, things of that nature.
Wow, I just feel stupid now. That seems so obvious, and
Don't feel stupid.
I've got a lot of minis I got to redo now.
And you learn, right? Like, yeah.
The first time I painted white too, I was like, I'm just gonna paint it white and put a wash on it, and then it just looked awful.
And you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't work. But that's why, like, this guy I want to get eventually to white, but that's why I primed it in the gray.
Right.
Because that's the darkest it'll go in, like, the recesses and stuff like that, and then the highest points will be white. Although it is hard. Painting white is very hard.
Yeah, no, I get that. All right. So, Evelyn, anything else I've missed on the chat? We're going to get ready for a giveaway here in a minute.
I don't see any other questions in the chat, but I actually have some questions of my own.
All right, so I want you to ask questions. Before we do, I want Jorge to be able to, like, is there anything you wanted to share with us tonight? Like, we've been peppering you with questions, but if you have things you want to talk about.
You are well seasoned, my friend.
Yes, like, oh, I see what you did there. Very nicely done.
Like a Vietnamese dish.
Yeah.
100%.
So, Jorge, anything you'd like to share with the broader D&D community about painting or minis or anything else? We got plenty more questions, but I wanted to give you a chance.
It's so yes, no, maybe, but
okay, yeah.
For me personally, so just to kind of plug like my kind of stuff, it's kind of an announcement because I don't even think I've told anyone, but in November I'll actually start selling already painted minis. So normally I don't do commissions, and I still won't do commissions. But for the most part, what I'll be doing is painting minis and then putting them up for sale so people can have them. And the reason they're going live in November is because of shipping worldwide and things like that. I want them to be ready for Christmas. So they should be about the second week, give or take, of November that will go live. I
love that. So obviously, give us that. Is it going to be on Etsy, or what's going to be the mechanism for?
For now, yeah. I'm trying to do it on my own website, but it'll probably be on Etsy, just so I can have the broader community that's beyond my social media and stuff, to kind of be able to see it. But the plan is to do, if I go that route, and if it does go well, the plan is to do it more kind of like how dice makers do when, like, independent dice makers do drops. So they'll do like, hey, whenever I'm gonna drop 20 minis, and just there you go. And then in 3 months, here's another 20 minis, kind of like that.
Love it.
So we'll see if it works out. It's a little too early to tell, but that would be in November.
Well, okay, we will do everything we can here on Blue Box to help that work out. I'm going to share that with all of our fellow streamers. You have done so much for us. We want to help you in any way. So as soon as that Etsy channel, when you know when it's going to be and it's going to drop, we'll make a big deal. We'll hype it up. I'll get it out
and I'll add it to our Nightbot.
Yeah, we'll get it to that.
I'll promote it.
I'll get it over to Jay. I'm sure Jay would be willing to help. I'll get it over to Chris Solo and Critical Die. I'll get it to many folks. I think we can really help you with that.
And there will be a giveaway attached to it. So the giveaway it's going to end when it goes live. So.
All right. Well, Xtort had the exact thing. I think we're all thinking.
Take our money.
Take my monies, please. Take my monies. We want to throw it at you. All right. Any other thoughts, Jorge?
I have a lot of opinions, a lot of hot takes, like 4th edition D&D being the best.
No. Tell me why you love Blue Box so much. That's what I want to know.
I honestly, you know what's funny? I don't even remember how we got
that's a good
together.
question. How did you guys link up?
I think I saw him on Instagram, I think,
sure, because that's the only place I'm at. But
did John slide into your DMs?
I think I did.
Did he slide into yours?
I think I did.
Slide into his.
I think I slid into his DMs. Yes, I did.
Let us know.
So I believe that at the time I had done a mini for charity. So I painted a T-Rex, like a large T-Rex for charity, with another streaming group called Campfire Quest here out of Orlando.
Oh yeah, great group.
So I worked with them and they hyped it up, and I think John saw that and was like, "That's awesome." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll paint stuff for you."
Oh, and, so John did slide into your DMs.
Yeah, I think
here first, friend.
Yeah.
I did.
I think I watched one of the streams, and John is so good, because I have to bring it back to Blue Box. John is such an incredibly good DM. It's not even funny, because one of my issues, and I don't want to throw shade at other streams because I really don't watch other streams, but like one of my issues with other streams is that sometimes they can get a little too critical role. So for me, that kind of takes me out. I know that sounds awful, but
no. I'm really curious now. When you say that, and this is not shade. This is like I love all D&D, and we all love the community. But when you say that, like, just too much. too critical role means too kind of off into crazy stuff, or what do you mean by that?
Very very theatric. To the point where you might have the game becomes kind of secondary, which is fine, and that's okay. And the game is about the story.
Sure.
But sometimes, when it's too much acting and things like that,
yes,
it can really throw me out. But that's just my personal how I like to enjoy the content personally.
No,
what I enjoy. I remember watching you the first time, and you're just so upbeat, and you had like the whole setup, and you were explaining the rules to people, not only to the players, but explaining the rules to the chat, which I think it's amazing because so many streams play any random RPG, not just D&D, and then they just go through it, and you're just like, wait, what? What do you mean? A skill check for what?
Okay, that helps me.
A percentile for what? So that really drew me, and not only that, but just the enthusiasm of just you and your family and everybody playing. I was like, yeah, I like these folks. So.
Oh man, thank you so much. Like I didn't actually want to be. Maybe I did, but anyway, that was awesome. Thank you. And
can I just add that since being on the stream, the people who have kind of just chimed in and watched. Just because like they were my followers and they were just chiming in to watch, I've had at least like 7 comments about your DMing, about how great it was and how they didn't think that it was like, they were just like, oh yeah, we just came to support you and checked it out. And they're like, holy crap, like this is awesome. And then they ended up staying. So like honestly, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your DMing skills. You make it fun every single Tuesday. I'm always happy to come and play. So
it's awesome.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. And that whole comment there from both of you, it means a ton to me. And Jorge, your sort of breakdown, like I love voice acting. You see us do that, but all of that should be secondary to the game. So the rules are important, and I think there is there's sort of an arc. Between strict sort of rule-based, very dry, you roll d20, you get that. And then there's just pure theater and I try to be right in the middle. I love the theater piece. I love bringing sort of that acting component and the voices, but the rules and the basics of the game, to me, I've played that way since I was 11 years old, so I'm not doing anything new. It's just always what I've known. But that's not why people are on here. So let's talk about more mini painting. Evelyn, you have questions.
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to know what are your favorite paints to use, and what are your like go-to brushes?
Ooh, a lot of opinions on that as well. So,
and that's your wrong opinion, Jorge.
The what?
And that's for both of you, by the way.
Oh, and I said, let's hear your wrong opinion.
So when it comes to paint, my personal favorite paint brand is Scale 75. So Scale 75, it's a hard paint to actually work with. It's very different to everything else, the medium that it uses and things of that nature. So I usually tend to use those for more set piece minis. Kind of like the dragon that John has, that's mostly Scale 75 paints and things like that.
Wow.
For more regular minis, I don't necessarily have a favorite personally. I have favorite specific colors. So for me, I like Citadel, some colors. I do enjoy Vallejo a lot. I like Army Painter, Formula P3. It's fantastic as well. So it just depends really what you're painting. That really drives it. That's a whole conversation for a day that I can just go through my favorite paints. I'm looking at my paint rack right now. I have specific like colors that I love. For example, my absolute favorite blue is this one's called Thousand Suns Blue from Citadel. It's just a very vibrant, very vibrant blue. If you're gonna paint black, Vallejo Moto Color Black is the only black you should have in your paint rack. That's just how it is. Same with white, Vallejo Moto Color White. It's the only white you should have in your paint rack. Just because I don't know what they did, what sorcery they did to get the formula right, but they did.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So it just depends really what I'm painting.
Spice and everything nice.
I'm looking at my paints right now and figuring out what I need to throw out. All right, so I'm using. Yeah, okay. I got to get rid of that. So we're gonna have to do everything.
You just threw.
All right, so one of the things I love here, and tell me if this is just a lame guy. I got turned on to this, and it's worked really well. Agrax Earthshade.
Yes.
I love this. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You can't really go wrong with any of the Citadel shades. I have pretty much all of them. So you can't really go wrong with them. To be honest with you, stuff like Army Painter's quick shades are pretty much the same product.
Oh yes, I have
just
those
in a small bottle.
Mm-hmm.
They work pretty much very similarly. It's just how you apply them. I never recommend you apply them super thick, but that's just me personally. And if you want to know a trick, if you're going to put Agrax Earthshade or non-oil specifically, which is the black wash from Citadel, if you're going to put that over armor and you want to retain the shine from the metal, get yourself, where is it? Here. Get yourself, this is Glaze Medium from Vallejo.
Oh,
So it comes in a small bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So mix it with a little bit of glaze medium. When you actually do it, it'll sink into the recesses, but it won't dull the armor down.
So is that similar to the anti-shine or no?
That's varnish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then these.
Go ahead.
Great.
So I'm gonna give you another tip. So the anti-varnish or matte varnish, if you want cloth to look more like actual cloth, when you're painting cloth, mix a little bit of matte varnish on it.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we're getting close to out of time, and I want to make sure we have the giveaway. But yes, I mean, so Jorge, you have so much more to teach us. Would you be willing to come back another time?
Sure. Yeah, just let me know.
Ooh, see, you're welcome.
No, I would just like.
After much bribery and convincing.
Yes. No, man,
you're acquired, Jorge. Come on, Two Blue Box.
No, we'd love to have you. We're gonna get ready to raid Jay here in a second. Lord Gasamba is gonna be on in just a moment. We'll raid him. But Jorge, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Like all you've done, you've really encouraged me with the stream. The minis that you sent us, the unboxings that we've done, the players, the joy in their faces when they see, what they imagined in their heads brought to life on the table. You have helped Blue Box grow. And I will ever be grateful for that. And I want to continue to support you. You get that Etsy channel up in November. We will blast that everywhere we can. And sorry, go ahead, Vivi.
John, you speak of joy on the player's face. You forget to speak of fear.
Yes. Oh, yes. There has been a bit of fear as well. Yes.
Specifically that one. I have a love-hate relationship.
Which is really funny because I knew that was coming for like 7 streams before you guys did.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so hard to keep quiet.
Tell me more.
No, like he and I were talking. It was so hard to keep quiet. All right. So. We'll have Jorge back. Thank you so much, Atrus Minis. We're going to have your Etsy channel promoted here really quickly. But the giveaway, do we have any questions while I get the giveaway ready from Vivi or Evelyn?
Jorge, where did you come up with your logo idea? I really like your logo.
I'm obsessed with Norse mythology.
Yeah.
So the actual lettering for it, it's really in some ways it's a ripoff of the band Amon Amarth. Mm-hmm. The metal band, which is a Viking metal band, and then I just asked the artist, "Can you do some type of axe?" And the axe that she did is actually a Celtic axe, technically. Because Atrus actually means bear man in Gaelic.
Oh,
that's so awesome.
I did not know that. Oh, Vivi with the closing question. Well done.
I love his logo. It's like one of my favorite ones.
So Atrus, I know I love his logo. And so it's Gaelic. Atrus is Gaelic for bear men. Yeah. Right? Wow, that's super cool. All right, so type ! Minis. Should be in the chat now, and you will be entered in the giveaway. We're going to do that in just a second. So all of our viewers, we've had a great viewership. I think this is probably our best viewed LMA. We've been over 40 for most of the night. And type ! Minis in the chat. Jorge, you survived. See, it wasn't that hard, was it?
See?
I I counted as a win that I didn't barf immediately. I was watching the countdown on the other monitor, and I didn't realize before today, because today's my Twitch first time ever.
Right.
So I didn't realize how long the delay is between this screen and Twitch.
the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the countdown. I'm just here like.
That's why when John says like, "Oh yeah, just look at the map," and then we look at the map and it takes us like a while
There's
before
like a
no,
pause.
not
So
that
how
one.
long is the delay?
Yeah.
How long is the delay? This is
It's
important.
about 10 seconds. I would
10?
say.
It's a few
I thought it was like 2 to 3. It's 10?
It's about 10 seconds. That's why a lot of times I'm like,
Yes, Lexfire, my
so then that's
laser
where I wanna
pointer.
go.
I'm
I
gonna.
think that was with Rory too, when he was trying to tell you what tree, because then
Yeah.
you're like this tree, or this tree, and you're like, tell me which one, and then like,
like,
because of the delay, he was like this tree, and then you're like this one, and he's like no, and then like this one, he's like no,
So
no.
I just counted it on my end. It's 13 seconds on my
That's
end.
13.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you're mocking me right now. So I thought I had it down to like 2 to 3 seconds. I got to figure out what's going on here. I'll talk to some other streamers, but that seems ridiculously long. All right, so before we do the giveaway, we have one. Look at that, Vivi. That's wicked looking.
I'm using the eye shield because I've seen a lot of people use the eye shield on the beholders instead of like just painting them as is. So I wanted to try it.
No, I love
Nice.
that.
Looks great.
That's
Oh
so
my
cool.
gosh. Oh, look at that eye. That is so three-dimensional. That's wicked looking.
Okay, so also I'm very chatty normally, but when I'm paint, I'm very quiet. So it's like the only time you can get me to shut up. That's really I'm not really like as talkative as I normally am because I'm trying to concentrate.
That's why I haven't touched a paintbrush.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, paintbrush question. My go-tos
Oh,
is
yes.
The Master Stroke Finest Red Sable from Blick Art.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can get it online. It's actually it's just a Kolinsky Sable brush, but it's like $5. Super cheap and
Wow.
it's
What?
fantastic.
Send me
Yeah.
that link. Yeah.
I will. It'll be in Canada, so you'll probably get it in like 6 months. And then, so that's a number 2. That's for most of, pretty much almost everything. And then for detail, this is the Army Painter Masterclass Sable Kolinsky brush. This is a little bit more expensive. It's tiny. I don't know if you can really see the difference, but it's fantastic for painting eyes and very small things. I would also say this, I don't use it a lot, but I do use it. So this is Winsor & Newton Series 7. So this is considerably more expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
This is worth more than these two together. But so I use that for like special stuff.
Wow.
And then for dry brushing, actually my absolute favorite dry brush is the Makeup
Yep.
Elf Cosmetic.
Elf, that's what I have too.
Yes, the
That's
best.
Well, the Vivi, we know why,
Especially
because
if
you
do
talk to
terrain,
Jorge every day.
This monstrosity.
Yes.
Wow.
I
Wow.
actually
Okay. So
use the Ars
so
Opus M series, which is my favorite. The short bristle on the brush is a lot nicer. I actually really like it. I don't know if you can kind of tell. It's a
I
little
can't.
shorter than the other.
Hey, so
one.
Evelyn, I have to ask you something. I saw this
What?
earlier and I couldn't agree more. You do great notes. Can you produce notes of all the recommendations of paint and brushes from this stream? Because it would be so.
It might take me a while. I got 8 hours of Greyhawk Awakening to go through first.
No rush.
If you just want to send me the questions, I can just.
we can give you a short list.
Yeah, I just want to capture all this, like all the paint recommendations, the wash recommendations, the priming, the basing, the brushes. I mean, just such great content. And I know, like Extort and others, I think they're watching it and they're going like, man, we really would love to have this. I'm going to have to go back and watch this whole stream again. Jorge, we will have you back. Even if I have to come to Florida and put a camera in your face. And we're going to go ahead and roll our giveaway. We won't do a dice roll off tonight. So for the 3 minis, hold them again, Jorge, so everybody can see it.
Oh.
The minis.
Professional.
Yes.
You, Jorge.
Yeah,
All you,
absolute professional here, you know. I've done this a lot.
All right. The winner of the 3 Atrus minis. What are those called again? I don't play 5e. Grums, yeah. You'll never see those in Blue Box, by the way. All right, so the winner of those 3, really cool looking though. They're like little frogmen. Those are awesome.
that little stabby frog.
Yeah, all right.
They're like frog goblins.
Frog goblins, exactly. All right, the winner is 3, 2, 1, drum roll. Lexfire! Oh!
Congrats.
Congratulations, Lexfire22. I know you're on. I saw you just a minute ago. And I don't.
Been very active tonight.
And I don't think Lexfire's won before. So Lexfire.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, Lexfire, please send me your mailing address. I'll get that over to Jorge. So send me your name, full name, mail. I know who you are, but send it to me anyway. You can whisper it to me or put it on our Discord if you're on our Discord. We can drop our Discord in the chat again as well. Join us. This Sunday, we will not have our normal Blue Box Rune Lords campaign. Why? Because I'll be on with Jay, Lord Gazumba, at GaryCon with Luke Gygax. We're going to be on a panel talking about the difference between editions. This will be my chance to urinate all over 4E. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. To talk about all...
for the win.
Who are you? Like, who are you?
Yeah, Vivi's going to disown you, Jorge. This is a bad...
That's the starter set for 4E.
That looks like 5E. That's a 5 Easter.
No,
4E?
This is
really?
the 4th
They did that?
starter set.
Do you know why it looks like that, John? Is to fool you into buying it.
Exactly.
It looks like it looks like the old school original. I think it looks like
look,
basic.
it's the old school original. Oh no, then you take it.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, okay, I don't have time now because I got to raid Jay. But yes, they're ganking the old school red box basic edition, and then the blue box, of course, which is the expert, which is why we're called Blue Box. All right. So congrats again to Lexfire, very cool, and Jorge, thank you for joining us. Vivi, thank you for connecting us and making this all happen, and we are just so appreciative. Evelyn, as always, all that you do, including these great notes you're going to produce in here in a week or two. We are so appreciative. Everybody, we're going to raid Jay now, and let me pull this up. Final comments before I raid. Anybody have a comment or a question?
Thank you, John, for being awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you to the people watching. That was really awesome.
Yes. Great questions tonight, chat.
Yeah,
And
really,
those are
really
the best,
good questions.
as always.
And if anybody has questions, they can reach out to me as well, and I don't mind.
All right, so I'm going to raid. Oh, is Jay not on tonight?
He is.
Is he? What
He
the-
is.
You always have this.
Why my raid never shows what I'm looking for? It's
He's
crazy.
definitely on.
I don't know what the problem is. Like I see everything but what I want. There.
Everyone's like,
All right, I see. It's just Dungeons and Dragons, but I see his logo. That's got to be the right one. No, but only 3. That can't be him. But it's Wiz Dice. It's got to be him. All right, I'm going to rate it anyway. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Jorge, again, Vivi, Evelyn, all of you. We'll see you back here Sunday at GaryCon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Jorge, again, these minis, they're incredible. Ashrin, the most beloved. We can't wait to see her.
And.
you know who I want to see more than I do Asher?
Look who I got today, John.
Oh, you got the
I
mini!
saw that you posted the wings. Ooh, that's
she's
so awesome.
in, so I will be painting her now.
That's awesome.
Yay.
Awesome,
I freaking love
awesome.
your hair, Evelyn. I just want to
No, your hair looks really
you
good.
are
It really
freaking
does.
Rocking that hair. I'm
Yeah.